Welcome to Whittier Elementary's first session in the IB Professional Development Series. This session will provide a brief overview of the primary year's framework and the learner profile attributes. For today's professional development session, you will need a piece of paper divided into 4 boxes, a pen or a pencil, your quiz results from the learner profile quiz, which will be linked in the show notes, and a completed action plan at the end of today's lesson. Whittier's school mission aligns to the IB mission statement. As you can see, both of our missions aim to develop critical thinkers and 21st century minds that are able to succeed in a global society. Whittier's mission statement was developed with our shift to concept-based learning in mind. Our students will inquire into their educations through observation, exploration, and experimentation. We will develop intercultural and respectful learners by providing a nurturing, supportive, and positive environment for our students. The essential question for today's session asks, what is the learner profile and its attributes? We will know that we're successful at the end of today's presentation if participants develop an action plan for developing the learner profile in their classrooms. As you look at this visual representation of the IB PYP curriculum model, you'll notice the 6 circles that combine to guide the IB program. The outer ring is the program we are working towards, the primary years program, or the PYP. Next are the transdisciplinary themes. These are our big ideas that we will be building our units from. Then we will see our content area subjects, followed by agency, exhibition, and action. Within that ring, we see the approaches to teaching and approaches to learning. Finally, at the center of it all, you'll see lies the learner profile. The learner profile and its 10 attributes are not only embedded in everything we do here as part of our IB program, but these attributes extend beyond the classroom and into the real world. Expanding our students' knowledge and understanding of these attributes is going to help support them beyond their elementary school days. While there are 10 learner profile attributes, it is important to remember that there is one learner. Think of your one learner as each student in your class. We will work on developing each of the 10 learner profile attributes for all of our students over the 6 years that they attend our school. The learner profile attributes represent a wide range of human capacities and responsibilities that focus on intellectual, personal, and social growth. If we are developing and using the learner profile attributes, we are building a foundation for international mindedness. These 10 attributes help support students as they work towards their goal of making positive change in the world. And finally, the attributes integrate with one another and within each of us to promote collaborative learning. Let's pause for a moment and think of how many learner profile attributes we can name. Go ahead and make a list from 1 to 10 and write down as many learner profile attributes as you can think of. You can pause the presentation here to complete this work. When you are ready to move on, click play to continue the video. The 10 learner profile attributes are inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk takers, balanced, and reflective. Each learner profile has a description that IB has assigned to it. Take a moment now to read through the descriptions for these learner profile attributes. You can pause the presentation here to complete this work. When you are ready to move on, click play to continue the video. Take another couple of moments to read through these 5 additional learner profile attributes. You can pause the presentation here to complete this work. When you are ready to move on, click play to continue the video. After reading each of the 10 learner profile descriptions, which one do you think you most often exemplify? Which one do you think you would like to develop further? Take a moment now to write down your answer to those questions. You can draw a quick sketch of 4 boxes, just like you see here on your screen. In the top left corner, write the attribute you most closely identify with. On the top right corner, write the attribute you most want to develop. You can take the quiz linked in the presentation notes. In the bottom left corner, write the attribute the quiz revealed. In the bottom right corner, write a sentence or two about why the quiz results did or did not surprise you. You can pause the presentation here to complete this work. When you are ready to move on, click play to continue the video. You're probably wondering how the learner profile can be used in your classroom. There are a lot of examples given to us from classrooms around the world. In the first grade example on your screen, you'll see that students created their own learning profile posters using student-friendly language. The posters were then displayed in the classroom. In the third grade example, they used the attribute tree to help students learn, use, and represent the learner profile attributes. The teachers make a large bulletin board tree in their school that looks like the worksheet, and then use the worksheet in class. Facilitators ask the children to imagine what it would be like if they were sitting on the open-minded branch of the tree looking down. They ask them to explain what they would see people doing who were open-minded. This helps the students visualize what each learner profile attribute means. This example from a 5th grade classroom, the students wrote letters to Congress encouraging them to use the learner profile attributes with the goal of ending the government shutdown of 2013 and to reopen the national parks. In order to gain holistic feedback of student actions both in and outside of school, this example shows an IB at home log, so parents can record when their children display one or more of the learner profile attributes. Some additional ideas for using the learner profile attributes in our classroom include reading books and discussing how the characters are displaying the attributes. Using an interactive bulletin board to allow students to reflect on their own attributes, or playing games to help students learn and use the learner profile attribute language. Now it's your turn to decide how you will teach the learner profile attributes in your classroom. Begin by choosing a goal. Maybe you want to focus on one learner profile attribute per month. Maybe you want to implement an interactive bulletin board for your students to learn the profiles. Whatever your goal is, write it down. In the example on your screen, this teacher chose to focus on one learner attribute per month, beginning with the attribute of caring. Next, write down the strategy or strategies you will use to teach this profile in your classroom. In the example on your screen, this teacher is going to read books about caring, specifically The Invisible Boy and Chrysanthemum. Students will discuss how the characters were caring in the stories. Once your strategies are written down, you need to identify your success criteria. How will you know that students have learned and are appropriately using the learner profile attributes? In the example on your screen, students will use the word caring in an appropriate way when discussing the characters in their book. The last step is to reflect on the activity that you planned. Think about how things went. What would you do different? What could you do better next time? These are all important pieces of planning an effective learner profile attribute lesson. You can pause the presentation here to complete this work. When you are ready to move on, click play to continue the video. We have reached the end of session 1 of the Learner Profile Attribute Professional Development. Take a moment to reflect on your learning. Did we answer the essential question of what is the learner profile and its attributes? If we have been successful in today's professional development session, You should have written an action plan for how you will develop the learner profile attributes in your classroom.